I'm Molly Alexander. I'm the Southeast Regional Agronomist for AgroTech, and today I'm with Luke Harvey of Sunrise Dairies in Eatonton, Georgia, and we are going to discuss Luke's wheat crop. So this is his first year using NutriCharge as a whole. He used it on his wheat, he's got it under his corn, and we want to talk about more or less what he saw with his wheat and why he chose to go this route versus what he saw last year. So last year on your wheat, we know that you had a decent harvest, but it wasn't exactly that goal you were looking for. So what prompted you from last year to this year to look at something like a NutriCharge or kind of revamping your program as a whole?
I just wanted something to help get the plant off to a good start and help get a good root system established early. And we put a lot of manure out here on the dairy, so I wanted to make my phosphorus that I had right there in the ground more available, and felt like I saw a pretty good response out of it.
Good. So I know we talk about this all the time, the big difference between you and what you would call a typical like grain farmer is we don't get to measure what you do in yield. Now we get to measure it in, the quality of your feedstuffs. So you have a consultant that does like your feed ratios, they test your feed. And then just based off of your actual harvest, you can tell in tonnage whether you had a better year or a rough year, right? So is that the things that you're looking for, is quality and tonnage?
It is, and this year was probably the best. It's the highest tonnage with the best quality that I've ever had. We put up some high tonnage stuff in the past, but the quality wasn't as good as I would like it to be, and we hit both tiers this year by hitting tonnage and quality at the same time.
So on that same track of conversation, like you versus, a typical grain farmer, I know you put out quite a bit of manure and you run it through pivots. And as far as application wise, so there's some differences between you and these guys. So even though Luke plants a grain variety as far as corn instead of a silage variety, but as far as wheat, I mean, it's the same thing, right? You're planting are you planting a silage variety for wheat? What route are you going on your wheat?
I'm looking for a healthy plant with a late heading date and good standability, and it worked out well for us this year.
So if we go from, say, start to finish, just in a brief overview, your planter's not set up right now for all these big time, like, heavy doses of in-furrow, heavy doses of 2x2, all these special things that some of these big-time grain farmers have. Like, you're working with what you got in your planter, and you've made some good adjustments that's helped you out as far as planting and everything. So on your wheat planter, where did you start with NutriCharge? Did you start prior to planting? Did you go with the planter? Or where did you start with your first application NutriCharge?
We don't have any kind of fertilizer on our grain drill. We planted everything, no seed treatment or anything, and then we came back when the wheat was probably just starting to tiller. Some of it was just 2 to 3 inches out of the ground, and we hit it with our first shot of NutriCharge. Well, we hit it with our only shot. We put it 6.4 ounce rate of NutriCharge out with a biological, humic, and some sugar, and our herbicide.
Okay, how much, when you say your first shot, you had all of that in it too, what was your actual fertility inputs in that? Like, what was your nitrogen and what were your things like that?
On all the ground here at the dairy where we just used manure, we didn't put out anything.
Okay, so it was just straight manure. There was
straight manure.
28, there was no anything like that. It was all straight manure.
Right.
Okay.
And then on my conventional ground where we don't have manure, we put out all our P&K ahead of planting, and with 30 units of nitrogen.
Okay, so you put out one shot on the wheat, 6.4 ounces, and you put it in with a bunch of other kind of a packaged product that's more of a plant booster, kind of plant health. That's what your goal was, to get your soil right, get your plant off to a good, healthy start. So 6.4 ounces was your one and only on NutriCharge on your wheat.
It was.
And then what did you see visual-wise throughout the growing season after that shot of that? Did you see better color, better standability? Because Luke and I actually happen to live within about 40 miles of each other, and he's got some fields that are within 2 miles actually of my house. And we had some crazy weather this year that could have potentially laid some wheat down and been oversaturated. And so we looked at his wheat quite a bit this year just because it grew so fast and so strong that we were scared it might lay over, because I got a few phone calls from you based on that. So do you think adjusting your program and the factors that Mother Nature brought into it, do you think that doing that helped with that wheat as far as the standability and any other visual cues you saw?
Yeah, I saw really good green up, and then it seemed like after I put it on, I saw the best tillering I've ever seen. I mean, it bushed out, it filled in real nice, had good, big thick stalks on it, and
when we pulled the roots up, when we pulled the plants up, we saw a noticeable difference in some of the roots and stuff as well. 0.4 ounces of NutriCharge one time when the wheat was about 3 inches tall, mixed in with some biologic, some humics, some sugar. It's the one and only shot he got, and he says that he saw visually the best wheat. And then when it came time to harvest, he said he had the best quality and the best tonnage that he's had in the first year of using NutriCharge. I know that you also have corn behind your wheat.
I do.
You've got NutriCharge on your corn. We're standing in some corn right now, and so we will follow up with another video on the corn when it gets a little later in the season. So thank you, Luke, for talking to me today. If you guys have any questions on NutriCharge or any other products, you can go to AgroTechUSA.com, or you can go to our Facebook page or YouTube channel. I'm Molly Alexander. This is Luke Harvey with Sunrise Dairy, and we thank you for listening today.